Hut, hike! Hello again, my fellow Bears fans. Your boy Roy on Chicago Football Talk, and what a game that was. The hype we had been waiting for it. You know, that victory versus the Colts was pretty short-lived when you have a short week and you lose as poorly as the Bears did. I wanted to share some of my quick thoughts. Again, I was sharing most of my tweets, most of my thoughts, my notebook during Twitter via CFT Bears, the official hashtag of Chicago Bears. And then my internet went out. I don't know, when it rains, it pours or what have you. So I wasn't able to actually get on it for the second half. So I do apologize for that. But I was watching the game, and I do look forward to start breaking down the game. I already started to do some of that. I have the game book right here, freshly printed. And they don't smell too nice, I'll tell you that. So let me get into just a couple of things here before I call it a night and then get into the footage tomorrow. Some stats, interesting stats. Of course, Jay Cutler got sacked 7 times, including 12 quarterback hits, including 7 sacks, if you will. 7 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, and he lost 52 yards while trying to pass on those 7 sacks. The Bears also had 8 penalties for 65 yards, most of them being on offense. I think they had 1 penalty that I can recall on defense, and that was Major Wright when he ran into the lane of the receiver there, ran into his path. The Packers hit that magic number of 8 explosive plays. They had 7 passing and 1 running, and that doesn't even include that very brilliant suckered fake field goal play that they got Dave Toub on. Very interesting. I had some fans tweet me talking about how the Bears lost in all 3 phases, or that they got out-coached and Lovie should be fired. And I'm thinking, the defense played great. If by out-coach, then you're probably pointing to Mike Tice or David Toub, and David Toub is celebrated here. I mean, he's the one guy that also got out-coached along with Mike Tice, but no problem with the defensive effort. But the Bears had only 3 explosive plays. That was 2 passes and 1 runs. 3 explosive plays. I guarantee that is not the metric that Tice was looking for, and we're going by the Tice metric again. Defensively speaking, we're going to get into the good, the bad, and then the ugly this time. We do have to pull out the cliche because there was the ugly, and we all know what that was. The good was the defense. I thought actually they played great. I don't like to throw around that term a lot, but I thought they played great, actually. The defense held the Packers. They actually overestimated the point. I predicted it was going to be 34-23 in the favor of the Bears, so I did get the 23 right, that the Packers would score, but I thought they would score both of their touchdowns on offense. Bears doing an even better job of holding them to 2 field goals and only 1 offensive touchdown. I thought they did frustrate that offense, though they were missing Jennings. I thought they did a good job. I thought they played discipline for the most part. Tim Jennings, a little shout out goes to him. He definitely did gamble again, relying on his safeties, looking as if he may have been beat on a couple plays, though to me it also looked like the safeties were a little late in their help also too, but he might have misjudged kind of like opening that gap and trying to bait for interceptions there, because he might have been beat if they wouldn't have dropped the balls, or if the safeties didn't really get there, if Cutler or Rodgers would have thrown a little better ball. But Jennings still, I thought, played well, putting on stick after stick, not allowing any yards after contact. I mean, when he hit people, they basically went down, they hit a wall, even tackling Finley in that fashion too. And he got an interception again. I believe, if I heard correctly, he's already eclipsed, if not tied, the same amount of interceptions he had all last season. So another good game overall by Jennings. Nobody played perfect. And Lance Briggs could have had another interception too. He channeled his inner Roy Williams while he was bobbling that 1 pick there. So I thought they handled Rodgers pretty well, even to the point where I was hearing Packers fans call in on the radio on Les Grobstein's show criticizing Aaron Rodgers, saying they still haven't seen the real Aaron Rodgers appear ever since that debacle versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So Packers fans are worried, and for Bears fans that think that meatballs are coming out of the work, or I'm having to have to talk lemmings from jumping off the ledge, if you will, on this team so early, so soon in a new offense with so many new variables. Well, Packers fans they got their meatballs too over there, and they're basically being very critical of Rodgers right now. But the Bears defensive line, I thought, played well. Shout out to Corey Wooten. 2 good games in a row now, showing that it's a good thing that they did keep him on the roster. I actually hope he keeps it up. I've been critical of him, but it's not like I want him off the team if the guy is ready to produce. All I've been doing is sounding the alarm that the guy's in his final year and he's going to have to put up, or else if he wants that second contract. So far, he's playing like a man on a contract that wants a second contract, providing good pressure, stuffing the run on a couple plays too, and I can't wait to get to the tape and look at a little more of Corey Wooten. Shea McClellan's athleticism did show up. He got a sack and a half as well. Good pressure on Rodgers, though. They got 5 sacks on him, and I believe they got 7 quarterback hits on Aaron Rodgers, but I didn't write that down. Moving along to the bad, that would be the special teams. When you get burned and look so foolish, when your scheme gets exposed as poorly as it did, because obviously the Bears are very aggressive when they try to get their field goal block team in. They put a lot of their starters in from defense in order to try to get a block, and they've gotten their share of blocks. But Chris Conte basically... The rule in defense, and this just goes all the way Pop Warner, high school, on any level. I don't know why more pros do it except for ego, possibly pride getting in the way. If you start losing ground and getting pushed back at the line of scrimmage, you need to, and there's nowhere to go, you need to drop, and create a pile. If Chris Conte would have did that, that would not have gone for a touchdown. It might have still gone for a first down, but it wouldn't have gone. Instead, he let himself get pushed all the way out of the play, especially when you're being double teamed, okay? And you got a bum shoulder. I mean, come on now, Birdman. You can't fly when one of your wings is clipped now. Drop to your knees, and should have been given the Bears 20, if you will, after that one. So David Toub's scheme got exposed on that, and I'm sure it won't be for long. Better that it happens earlier rather than later. And you could see it gave them basically badly needed momentum. The crowd was taken out at Lambeau there. They were getting frustrated. You could hear it in the audience. And they basically went to the well on that one in order to just hope that they could jumpstart their team. It really didn't work from an offensive standpoint, but it did work from a team standpoint, as it gave them, the one touchdown that they needed for quite a while. Now we move on to the ugly, the offense. A lot of people are out there, really just hating on Cutler right now. And hey, it's your right to. I'm not here to be a Cutler apologist by any means, but I think people need to just keep things in perspective. Cutler did play a poor game, but you have to look at the chain of events. It was basically like a chain of mistakes, and one mistake led to another and had a cumulative effect. I mean, 3 of their first 5 drives were actually 3 and outs. Their first 3 drives were 3 and outs. All right. And then there was mistakes on all of the first 5 first half drives that they had. That's how they came out. Okay. First 3 drives, 3 and out. This is all in the first half. First play of the first drive, Forte gives us a sack. Second drive, delay a game caused by Chris Spencer. That's when Jay Cutler was trying to signal to him to snap the ball because the play clock was running out. And Chris Spencer, waiting for Roberto Garza to finish giving the calls, not realizing he needed to snap the ball, lackadaisically tapped Garza on the side to actually snap the ball, and Cutler tore into him. Third drive, another sack, led to a 2nd and 20 and then a 3rd and 22. Fourth drive, that's when Gabe Karimi got his unnecessary roughness penalty, which gave him 15 yards there. And then that was followed up on the very next play with a Jay Webb sack on 1-and-1 versus Clay Matthews. I'm sorry, my mind is running in circles right now. But a lot of people were talking about how Dom Capers confused the offensive line and basically they couldn't pick up the blitzes and this, that, and the other. It wasn't so much confusion as it was 2 things. One, lack of communication. Well, actually, first and foremost, losing one-on-one matchups. In that sack right there, on the 4th drive after Gabe Karimi's penalty, when they already had 3 and outs on their first 3 drives. On the 4th drive, they got something going when they started running the ball with Michael Bush and Jay Webb. It was 1-on-1. There was no confusion there. There was no smoke and mirrors there. Simply got beat on a knockdown move with quick hands by Matthews on a 1-and-1. So no confusion there. A lot of the mistakes that came down in this game on the offensive line were not because of Don Capers' great scheme. The best thing that Don Capers did in this game was play man 2, or what they call cover 2 man, where they basically had 2 safeties deep and then they had man on the corners too to basically cover the 2 receivers on the outside so they didn't get burned deep. And it frustrated Cutler. That frustrated Cutler, as well as the offensive line and also the running backs making mistakes on blitz pickup. up. All of that led to, again, built on the frustration where the fifth drive, after Jay Cutler rips Jamarcus Webb and the whole J Webb Nation, Camper Girl center crying, threw her camera on the ground and broke it. Basically, Jamarcus Webb comes out with a false start on the first play of that fifth drive. And then that leads to the Jay Cutler interception there. Not that play, but on that same drive, that's when Jay Cutler actually had the interception too, when Gabe Karimi let his guy go. And they were playing that same defense, which basically made Cutler force the ball to Earl Bennett. So the main thing is the offense really let the team down more than anything. Defense played great. And it's, again, I'm not really surprised. Again, even though I picked the Bears to win, I thought they were further along in their offense than they actually were. I thought they would use the double tight end a lot more than they actually did. They pressed a lot. They really tried to get the ball to their offensive wide receivers a little bit too much, and it ended up burning them. So it's going to send them back to the drawing board. The good thing is that this happened earlier rather than later. They've got plenty on the chalkboard there, plenty in the film room to look at and clean up their mistakes. They're going to need to find some kind of adjustment because other teams, that's a real easy defense to run, and other teams can really easily run that same defense where they just double the two outside receivers and say, make your little guys beat us or run it at us. The best success they had was kind of when they started running the ball and then Matt Forte got hurt. So again, you need to remember this is a very young offense. They're only in their second game. There's a lot of new pieces to the offense. Michael Bush, Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, Mike Tice, Jeremy Bates. I mean, Mike Tice being the offensive coordinator. A lot of new pieces to expect them to just be awesome right away. Or I shouldn't say to expect them to be awesome, but to be disappointed when they're not awesome right away is unrealistic. I thought they would win. I thought they were further along. Yes, but I am not upset. I am not a lemming jumping off the ledge, and I am definitely not going to lay all of the blame of this game on Jay Cutler's feet, because to do so is to take things out of their context. So that's all my notes that I have right now. I look forward to the second matchup, and I look forward to watching the Bears grow along the rest of the season, and I hope Bears fans can find it in their football and their sports mentality to show a little patience. Offense always comes along slower than defense. It's going to take time. They're going to go through growing pains, all right? All right, your boy Roy. I got a tear in my beer for everybody out there. Peace, and I'm out.